Alright guys, so while I'm at it, I wanted to sort of talk about the difference that I felt between lower profile and wider tires versus higher profile and more narrow tires, because I made the change about 2 months ago on my car. I went from 6.5 inch wide wheels to 9.5 inch wide wheels, from 205s to 265s on a square setup, and I've definitely felt a lot of really noticeable changes basically right away. Well, first of all, I noticed that I had to press on the gas a little bit more in my Corolla. I was getting a little bit worse gas mileage. I actually tested it at 50 miles an hour on a 2 different days, the day before I got it and then the day I got the wider tires, and my fuel efficiency dropped 16% at 50 miles an hour. So that was just one thing that happened. I also felt a little bit more of the road in terms of like little tiny bumps, but that was not really something I noticed so much when you're just driving around. But if you pay attention to it, you can really feel it. But if not, it's not really something that'll bother you, to be honest. It's just something you notice a little bit more with lower profile tires. Another thing was that I had some, well, I guess I'm going with all the cons first, but it's because it's been so good, honestly, that I've made the change. Is that I had some fitment issues with the fenders. I had to get them rolled and pulled, and even that I still had some issues. So I had to increase the camber a little bit on the front. I guess I have like -3 now, and that's been pretty good. The back is a little bit, but to the pros, I'd say you really have a lot better steering response. When I turn the wheel, it's more responsive, and I don't know if that's because the tires I had had different like sidewall strengths, but I'm assuming they had pretty similar ones. I went from the Continental ExtremeContact Sports to the Michelin Pilot Sport 4S, which are both in the max performance summer tires category. So yeah, I felt a little bit of difference with the steering response. It's just more noticeable if you can just sort of, you know, pull it side to side. And the car also, next point, the car also feels much more stable when I'm driving around somewhere where there's like turns, like in a canyon or something. And of course not very fast, but you just feel like the car is much more balanced. It almost feels like there's less body roll, which is interesting, because it's not exactly the suspension, but that's one of the things. There's another advantage, is that since I like to go to the track, I mean, which I've only done twice, having the wider tires and wheel setup sort of allows the tires to disperse heat better when it's wider. When it's more narrow, there's less surface area that can dissipate heat, so that will also help with the tire's lifespan, as well as there being less weight on the tire in a certain area, which will also help it last longer. It's just what I'm assuming. Yeah, I guess it depends on how much, if you're going to the track, or how crazy you're driving with the tire's life, but having wider will definitely make it last longer. And the wider tires also feel like they're getting a lot more grip. I feel like I can make turns faster and just much more comfortably as well. Instead of worrying about, you know, sliding around on the little grip you have, just having more of a wider tire there. And it's all subjective, I'd say. I wasn't really able to make some measurements like that before the track, nice cruises through California. But yeah, let me know if you guys want some extra videos out here. I'm happy to do with that, whatever you guys want. Just trying to live it